भक्त सेवा परम सिद्धि प्रेमलति करमूला माधवतीति भक्ति जननी जतने पालन कोरी माधवतीति कृष्ण बसती बसती बोली परमादरे बोरी कृष्ण बसती बसती बोली परम गौरामराज सबस्ताने करल ब्राह्मण रंगे गौरामराज सबस्ताने से सबस्ताना हेरि बोमी प्रणयिव कत संगे से सबस्ताना हेरि बोमी प्रणयिव मृदंगवाद्या सुनीते माना अबसर सादा जाची मृदंगवाद्या सुनीते मान अबसर सदा जा गौरविहिता कीर्तन सुनी आनंदे हृदय नाचे गौरविहिता कीर्तन सुनी आनंद जुगल मूर्ति देखिय मोरा परमानंद होया जुगल मूर्ति प्रसाद सेवा करिते होया सकल प्रपंच जाया प्रसाद से करिते होया सकल प्रपंच जे दिन गृहे भजन देखी गृहे ते गोलोक भाया जे दिन चरण सिंधु देखिया गंगा सुख न सीमा पाया तुलसी देखी जुराय प्राण माधव तोषनि जानी तुलसी देखी जुराय प्राण माधव तोषनि गौर प्रिया शाख सेवने जीवन सार्थक मानी गौर प्रिया शाख सेवने जीवन सार्थक भक्ति विनोद कृष्ण भजने अनुकूल पाया जहाँ भक्ति विनोद कृष्ण भजने अनुकूल पाया जहाँ प्रति दिवसे परम सुखे स्वीकार करो यथा प्रतिदिवसे परमसुखे शुद्ध भक्ता चरण रेणु भजनानुकूला शुद्ध भक्त भजनानुकूल भक्त सेवा परम सिद्धि प्रेमलति करमूला भक्त सेवा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा जय राधा मदन मोहन राधे जय जगन्नाथ बलदेवा जय सुभद्रमय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तनम की श्रील प्रभुपाद की। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिनि। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणि। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, seeking blessings from His Grace and my Prabhu and all the assembled Vaishnavas. So that today we are reading from Srila Prabhupada Lilamritam, we can discuss something out of it. This is chapter 4, I think it is volume 3, entitled Dancing White Elephants. There is a book also recently written by His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj on this episode. It is said every day we discuss on Bhagavatam, and every Ekadasi the system is made to discuss on the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. There are two kinds of Bhagavatam are there. One is Grandha Bhagavata, other is Vyakti Bhagavata. So it is equally important to know about the Vyakti Bhagavata so that we can appreciate Grandha Bhagavata. So this reading Lilamrit, appreciating the life and teachings of Srila Prabhupada may further enhance our understanding about Srimad Bhagavatam and its glories. So about dancing white elephants, there is one video is there in that Bhavananda Prabhu, His Grace Bhavananda Prabhu is Prabhupada disciple. He was speaking actually that in those days or even now also Indians are fond of Western products. Anything imported that is considered very special. You know, in that way, Prabhupada also thought, let us import Krishna consciousness from West and let us present it in India. Indians may be inspired to take it. So in that way, Prabhupada called all the Western disciples who came to India as dancing white elephants. And His Grace Bhavan Prabhu says, we are very proud to be called as Prabhupada's dancing white elephants. Jai Shri Shada Madar Mohan ki, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Gaunitaya ki jai. And we have, with all due respects, one dancing white elephant here. Mercy of Srila Prabhupada in the form of His Grace Anandmai Prabhu, living example. So it is a direct witness we can have here. And Satswarup Maharaj says actually it is a totally new for the Western people to India. So it is a very big deal for them to come to India and stay. But only one great advantage is actually they are so intimately associating with Prabhupada. So that is worth undergoing all the austerities coming to India, because we get to meet, associate with Prabhupada very, very closely. So that is a great advantage they felt, coming to India. And not only that, Prabhupada was dealing everything first hand in India, because all the Western devotees are very new to India, and they are often don't know how to deal with the so many shopkeepers and vendors. They often get used to cheated. So Prabhupada took all the management into his hands completely, and he was personally managing everything. So they learned so many things being in India, very close to Prabhupada. So we'll read from Chapter 4, India, Dancing White Elephants. Calcutta, August 29, 1970. For the first time in almost 3 years, Prabhupada returned to India, to Calcutta, his hometown. Although it was late and the journey from the Tokyo had been 12 hours, Prabhupada felt happy as he descended the stairway from the airplane. Achyutananda and Jayapataka, his only American disciples in India, were standing on the airfield, and they saw him approaching in his saffron silk robes. They bowed down. Prabhupada smiled and embraced them. They ushered him to a flower-bedecked car and accompanied him to the terminal building, where he entered the VIP lounge. So we see that actually the previous chapter that we heard there is a threat against ISKCON. At that time, it is said that Prabhupada prayed very intensely to Shri Rukmini and Dwarkadish, and Krishna said, "Go to India." So at that time, Prabhupada decides to start preaching in India. Till that time, there is no thoughts about preaching in India, because his spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told, preach in West. So he was preaching in the Western countries. So, but by the inspiration of Lord, actually, totally new direction took. That is coming to India and starting preaching in India. Some of the Prabhupada's god brothers and old Calcutta friends were present to receive him, and a kirtan party from the Chaitanya Mutt was chanting. The reception was large and festive. As the room resounded with Hare Krishna, Prabhupada took his seat. The sound of the kirtan, the many pictures of Krishna, and the smell of incense and jasmine flowers combined with Prabhupada's transcendental presence to transform the drab airport into heavenly scene. So this video is also there actually. Anybody has seen that Prabhupada coming, and in the local big dignitaries coming and garlanding Prabhupada and all these things. Prabhupada sitting in the airport only and doing some kirtan and delivering some lecture. So in the sunlight. So this video is there. Indians crowded forward to place flower garlands around Prabhupada's neck. And as the garlands piled higher, Prabhupada removed them. But the garlands kept coming, and again they piled up, almost covering Prabhupada's face. The American devotees watched in fascination as the Bengali brahmacharis played their mrudangas with exotic rhythms. The people in the crowd pressed in closer to Prabhupada's feet and asked his blessings, and Prabhupada smiled, seeming quite at home. When Kirtan ended, he began to speak. Because it is a great achievement actually. Prabhupada is from Calcutta. So their own person went somewhere and achieved some big thing, and coming back to their town, it's like a very big thing. Hmm. Even now also, if you see some, our cricket team also goes somewhere and comes, you know did something. It's a big celebration actually people do. So similarly, what Prabhupada achieved is not normal thing actually. It is very, very phenomenal. Going to some unknown place and staying among unknown people and cultivating them and making them Vaishnavas and preaching and coming back. It is already many people are aware about Prabhupada's achievements. And when Prabhupada is coming, everybody is very, very eager to welcome. I am coming back to the city after 3 years. Hare Krishna. I have been around the world and have found that happiness and peace cannot be established in this world by materialistic advancement. I have seen Japan, which is highly advanced in machines and technology. Yet there is no real happiness there. But the people of India, even if they do not understand the significance of Sankirtana, they enjoy listening to it. My advice to the Indians is that if you advance only in science and technology without paying attention to Harinama, then you will remain forever backward. There is tremendous strength in Harinam. So this is Prabhupada sharing his realization after he went to all over the world, especially Japan. Even recently, I was talking to one of our student is there in Japan working. I asked how the people there, all they, congenial, they are friendly to you, and he told Prabhuji they are like a robots. There is no feelings in them actually. Completely they look like machines and robots only. They are sharing. And what they follow in Christianity, and there is nothing actually. There is no religion they follow anything. You know. So that is a condition actually people, and it is famous for suicides more and more. you know and we are importing Japan technology. IIT Hyderabad is importing collaborated with Japan actually completely. And so we can understand. Reporter, you have said, and I quote, even communism, if it is without Krishna Nama, is void. Why do you say that, Prabhupada? Why do you refer to communism in particular? Without Krishna consciousness, everything is void. Whatever you do, Krishna must remain in the center. Whether you are communist or capitalist or anything else, it doesn't matter. We want to see whether your activities are centered around Krishna. So Prabhupada is telling here, even communism is also not perfect actually. The principle behind communism is actually everybody is equal. And Prabhupada is saying in one lecture, we see even communist leaders also, they favor their relatives. And they give some big posts and everything, big offers to their relatives. So in that way, communism also failed completely. It is only for the namesake, it is communism, everybody is equal. But within that also, not some people are not equal. So in that way, wherever Krishna is not center, anything is completely failure. Reporter, Right now, there is too much turmoil in Bengal. What is your advice to us at this time? Prabhupada. My advice is to chant Hare Krishna. This is the piece of advice to both the capitalists and communists. All the animosity between them will cease completely, and all their problems will be solved if they take to this advice. The crowd, affirming Prabhupada's word, began to shout, Sadhu, Sadhu. Prabhupada sat in the back seat on his way from the airport to the home of Mr. Das Gupta on Hindustan Road. Outside the car window, the familiar scenes of Calcutta passed by. For the newcomers riding with him, however, Calcutta was foreign and unfamiliar. Gaunt, loitering cows and street dogs, small horses pulling huge loads, barefoot rickshawalas, open shops with exotic foods, dense crowds of pedestrians, the slurry of the slurry heat, and the incredible traffic. These, although familiar to Prabhupada, plunged the disciples who had flown with him into culture shock. Tamal Krishna looked nervously at the driver, who swerved in and out of the traffic, honking his horn. Prabhupada laughed softly. Tamal Krishna, how do you like this driving? Achyutananda and Jaipatak, however, were acclimatizing to the Calcutta and had learned to appreciate its culture. They had met high class, cultured Bengalis who accepted them as sadhus despite their American birth. They had preached in many homes and had attracted curious crowds by chanting in public. They had not, however, achieved a solid foothold for ISKCON. But now Prabhupada had come to change that. He would preach wonderfully, just as he had done in America, and his disciples were eager to serve as his instruments. He would be their vital force, their inspiration, for he was empowered by Lord Chaitanya. So it is generally seen, actually, those who are Indians also, sometimes we see they go to West and they come to India and they become very uncomfortable seeing the traffic in India and the way people drive, because they, for even for short time they go to West, they get so much used to the comfort, and then they come to India, they become very difficult to drive actually, on the road or anything. They immediately say it is dirty India, like that way, comment also. But you can see actually, on the other hand, proper disciples who are already, in West, they are coming to India. For them, how much it is shock, the systems, how it work, and the people, how they drive. And in one of the Vyas Puja offering, His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj is mentioning uh, about Calcutta. Calcutta is considered one of the most dirtiest city in the world at that time. And especially when it is rains, it is water comes up and it like a flood only. There is no sewage system at that time, and we can imagine everything is one. And at that time, he says, once he happened to go somewhere, and suddenly there was a rain, and there is no conveyance to come back also, and the water came till the knee, and he has to go miles ahead actually to come to his place. And at that time, he writes actually, even though the situation is like this, I am happy because I am getting opportunity to serve Prabhupada. you know he writes. And one more incident he writes actually about Indian post office. that it is huge lines used to be there, and the forms what they will be there, what to fill you don't understand only in the forms, that kind of forms used to be there. And it is hardly you will get any place to put your paper and write also, for that also you have to search where I can fill up the form, in that way, there is a lot of difficulty to post something and do anything. There also he writes actually, but still I am very satisfied, but I am getting opportunity to serve Prabhupada. So it is very great inspiration actually to see how these great souls took so much austerity staying in India, and very happily uh, remembering Prabhupada and serving. And we can see that Prabhupada, before going to West, just before getting into Jalduta, he boards into Jalduta from Calcutta only. At that time, he writes, actually, I am born and brought up in the same town, but I don't know where to stay now, whom to call. At that time, Prabhupada, don't know actually where to go and stay for the time being. And he chooses to call one person, Shishir Bhattacharya, who is a Kirtan singer actually, he is a professional Kirtan singer. And he accompanies Prabhupada during some Janmashtami programs in Vrindavan. And Prabhupada calls him actually, I am about to go now. Can you help me some accommodation? Can you arrange some programs? I want to preach. And he comes and he picks up Prabhupada and he, takes Prabhupada around, to some programs. And he feels actually Swamiji is going to the West, it should come in newspaper, and he goes in so many newspapers, and many people don't accept only, don't agree to print at Prabhupada going to West and everything. So there is one newspaper, Dainik Basmati, they agree to print one small column, in that one small picture of Prabhupada, that, in that Prabhupada prints that I am going to West. No, Prabhupada prints that message of God is going to the West. I am like a postman. Somebody has to carry it. So in that it is very interesting what Prabhupada prints, that Swami Bhaktivedanta, author of Srimad Bhagavatam, 60 volumes. Prabhupada printed only 3 volumes at that time, and he says, author of Srimad Bhagavatam, who printed 60 volumes, and this work is appreciated by people of West even before Indians, and they are so much appreciative of my work, and they want to meet me in person, and they invited me, and I am going. On their request. And Prabhupada writes in that, in the newspaper ad actually. So in very, very humble way, Prabhupada went. And you can see actually when Prabhupada returned, how much it is very grand welcome. We'll continue. Prabhupada reached the home of Mr. Das Gupta almost midnight. Many people want to see him. And when Devananda Maharaj tried to turn them away, Prabhupada said, No, let them come in. Prabhupada's sister Bhavatarini arrived with an array of special dishes she had cooked. So Prabhupada used to remember in the childhood, they used to play, fly the kites together, Bhavatarini, and they used to pray to Krishna, let our kites fly long, Now, she is very, very fond of Prabhupada. She always used to cook very, very special dishes. And sometimes Prabhupada disciples used to oppose, actually, no, Prabhupada is not suits for your health. No, my sister, whatever she cooks, it is good for me. We cannot eat now. One of the sannyasis protest. It's late at night. No, Prabhupada said, we must eat everything. Whatever my sister cooks, we have to eat. This is her favorite activity. She likes to cook for me and feed me. Everyone must take prasadam. The devotees at Chaitanya Mutt had also cooked a feast. And as Prabhupada was honoring the prasadam prepared by his sister, the prasadam from the Chaitanya Mutt arrived. He took a little and induced his followers to eat sumptuously. Middle of the night, this is feast. It was at 1 a.m. Early morning 1 a.m. Prabhupada sat in his room with Achyutananda, Jayapataka and Devananda Maharaj. He explained how irresponsible letters from his disciples in India had perpetrated within ISKCON a deep misunderstanding of the spiritual master's position. He quoted the verse Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastrai and explained it. The Guru is on equal level with Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not God, but he is the dearmost servant of God. Prabhupada continued preaching to his disciples, cleaning away any misconceptions about the spiritual master's position. All the past unpleasant events, he said, were now being rectified. The devotees should continue working together with new life and vigor. So this is Prabhupada always given the right understanding about the position of spiritual master. Because the spiritual master is like a ambassador. So ambassador of the country is respected as good as the president of the country. But he is not the president. Similarly, spiritual master is to be offered due respect as good as God, but he is not God. So that is some misunderstanding came, and there was some kind of preaching that Prabhupada only is God. Like that, at that time, that preaching started in the West, and Prabhupada was very, very upset. And we can see how Prabhupada turned the adversity into opportunity. It's a kind of adverse situation, and that adverse situation brought about a new breakthrough that Prabhupada made to preaching into India. In that way, in the lives of great souls, whatever the adverse situation comes, that will begin a new chapter. So the new chapter is dancing white elephants, that devotees coming to India and begin this preaching. Achyutananda asked Prabhupada if he could take sannyas. The Indians, he said, would respect sannyasi more. Prabhupada agreed that sannyasa would help Achyutananda's preaching. And he said that Jayapataka should also take sannyas. The ceremony would be in a week on Radhashtami. The Amrita Bajar Patrika carried a front page news story of Prabhupada's arrival. A photo showed Prabhupada walking with his hands in his bead bag, surrounded by young sannyasi carrying dandas. Many VIPs have come to Dum Dum Airport before, but never have we seen gaiety and celebrations of this magnitude. It was difficult to imagine that he was 75 years old, because he was completely fresh after his long journey, with a little smile on his face. He blessed one and all with word Hari Bol. So this is amazing actually. Prabhupada never used to get tired even after traveling for long. Prabhupada used to go to some place and he used to adjust the clock according to that. Now the time for morning walk, the time for Bhagavatam class, whatever the time it is, from wherever he came, Prabhupada is completely remained on transcendental platform, and the people, disciples who used to travel with Prabhupada, they used to collapse after coming, But Prabhupada is completely fresh here. Prabhupada wrote to devotees in Japan. In India, from the very moment we stepped down from the airplane, there is a good propaganda work going on. The boy Bruce is improving and becoming more interested. He has now sacrificed his hairs for Krishna. That's a good sign. Calcutta was in political turmoil. A group of communist, terrorists, and Naxalites had been rioting, murdering prominent businessmen, and threatening the lives of many others. Many wealthy Marwari industrialists were leaving the city for Delhi and Bombay. Aside, aside from the terrorists, Bengali college students were growing unruly. But the older people of the West Bengal, comprising most of Prabhupada's visitors, were alarmed by the violence and unrest. The only shelter Prabhupada told them was Krishna. People are in very much perturbed condition. All of them are expecting me to do something for ameliorating the situation. But I am simply advising them to chant Hare Krishna because this transcendental sound is the only panacea for all material diseases. So, this is the message always Prabhupada carried with him, the great faith in chanting of the holy name. He has great faith that this will change the mentality of the people because it is Yuga Dharma, is the chanting of the holy name, and it has immense faith. He has immense faith in the potency of the holy name. So that's what he did in the Western countries, and he proved also. And now he is telling you also do the same thing. It worked in the Western countries also, chanting of the holy name, because that transformed the lives of the people. So this will surely work here also. So a small realization. Yesterday I was coming in bus to Hyderabad. Somehow next to me there was one converted Christian. You know, he was sitting. He is very staunch follower and he is a kind of preacher also. You know, I really understood actually. Many times people don't understand what the books say. You know, even we so-called Hindus, we are very very religious, but we did not understood anything until we come to read Prabhupada books. There is no clarity actually what we are doing. First of all, we are doing something in the name of spirituality, something we are doing, but nobody has any hint only in which direction we are going ahead until we are given understanding, right understanding by Prabhupada. So yesterday while I was talking, and he was telling actually that you know their principle is to follow the Bible word to word, you know, and okay, it is very good following Bible word to word, you know. And he said actually that Jesus gave his blood, you know, to clear away all our sins, you know, and uh, something like that he was telling actually. And we have to inject that blood into our blood, and no, something like that. So I was thinking actually, you know, I told that's all right, but I told basically, if anybody want to understand God, first of all, he has to come to human platform. You know, it is only for human beings only that spiritual life, not for any dogs and cats and pigs. Actually, for them, religion doesn't matter whether it is Hindu or Christian or Muslim or something. It doesn't matter if it is a dog or cat or pig or something. So to come to human platform, one has to follow 4 regulative principles first. No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. Then first he will come to human platform. After coming to human platform, he will get to understand God. Otherwise, there is no question of understanding God. However, how many times you read the Bible? He was reading the Bible for last 20 years actually. You know. So afterwards I was thinking this concept of, you know, Jesus giving the blood and no washing away our sins is there in our this thing also actually. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur told actually we should shed 200 gallons of blood to convince a conditioned soul to become God conscious actually. Understand? So this is what actually that Jesus shedding blood also to, for the sinful people to, rectify them. This is what our Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also said actually, that every sincere sadhaka should spend 200 gallons of hardened blood. And that's what we see. Nityananda Prabhu also shed blood actually to Jagai and Mathai actually to rectify them and transform them actually. So in that way actually what Jesus speaking actually they don't understand actually, first of all, unless they come to human platform first of all, to this is what actually Prabhupada only gave the right understanding. Unless a person come to the shelter of Acharya and through him one read the Shastra and understand the words of God, then only they can interpret rightly. Otherwise they have their own interpretation of, illusory understanding, and they keep on reading for lifetimes together without coming to the human platform. So they never understand actually what is spiritual life means. So in that way, we are very, very fortunate. Prabhupada transformed those people who are born Christians, and he gave them Sanatan Dharma, and he made them lovers of God. And here, our people who are so-called Hindus, and they are not understanding our own teachings of Gita and Bhagavatam, and they are taken to other path. So it is very, very unfortunate actually, and we are fortunate to have such a great Acharya who lived among us, and very fortunate to come in contact with his disciples and his sincere followers to get this opportunity. And we have one living example here, his grandson Anandmai Prabhu, who is a dancing white elephant among all of us. Grateful for his presence and association. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Lilamritam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki. His Grace Anandmai Prabhu, you want to speak something? Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.